Ow, the fuck did I do? You know you're getting old when you go to lift up your arm and you got searing pain out of nowhere. What the fuck? What is going on? All right, I had a malfunction with Streamlabs OBS. For some reason, it crashed and it refused to recognize Windows 10. I'm not going to give you the long, boring story. What does this look like? Better Call Saul? No, this is a YouTube live stream. We're going to cut to that fucking chase. Anyhow, long story short, I had to revamp some things. Anyway, what is this? Throat handcuffs? I always got this shit around my neck. I look ridiculous. Got little dangly things. The only thing good that's good for is having my cat randomly attack me out of nowhere. She likes to swat the headphones around. All right, we're going to dive into this as long as you can see me good, hear me good. I'm hoping that's the case. Better Call Saul is not all good, man. I think it is a solid prequel. I think if you love the fact that in the very beginning of the season, we saw, the two main characters, Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler, standing on a wall, sharing a cigarette together, and in the very end of the season, the show ends with them standing on a wall, sharing a cigarette together, and you experienced a bunch of shit in their lives from one end to the other, coming full circle and bookmarking it. You're going to have multiple loads shot all over your living room. But if you're not into that type of shit, you're probably going to be bored to fucking tears for a good portion of Better Call Saul. However, it is definitely one of the better prequels that we've ever seen in television. Prequels don't work out real well, not all the time. It's one of the better prequels. It does painfully at times stay true to what it really is. There is some stuff that feels like a plot hole, like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Like, you'll find out, oh, wait a minute. Here's one thing that annoys me with the fandom. In season 1, we saw a picture with the two twins, the assassins, and Tuco. It's always been fucking Tuco, but because Tuco in that picture wore the same similar belt buckle as Lalo, now fans are going fucking nuts. Like, oh my god, Kid Lalo was in season 1. No, the fuck he wasn't. It was Tuco. Let's not, I don't know why people do this. Like, it's like entertainment bath salts. It makes you go fucking nuts. We've seen this in fandoms all the time. Fans go off the reservation with shit. That's probably a racist saying nowadays in 2022. But I'm going to say it anyhow. If you don't know what it means, it's, you're on the reservation and then you get off and then you come back, they can't trust you, Anyhow, let me put the live chat up. If you're new here, we're going to talk about Better Call Saul for a few minutes, my opinion on it, and then we're going to go right into the fan feedback, which is your live opinion on Better Call Saul. Now, back to what I was saying about if you're down to really breaking it down and you like picking stuff that comes full circle, you like how at one moment Kim parallels Walter, but in very different context. Walter was making meth and he was breaking the law. He broke bad. And Skyler was like, don't you dare say it was for the family, you son of a bitch, you decrepit bastard. And he goes, nah, man, I was good at it. I liked it. And then in a totally different context, we see Kim, what is essentially the beginning of her downfall, mirroring that. But in the beginning of her downfall, whereas Walter's was at the end of his downfall, where Saul was like, you're doing pro bono cases? I think that's what the conversation was about. And she goes, I like it. I'm good at it. And she mirrors, film nuts and fans that really dig into those types of mirrored storytelling, bookend storytelling, coming full circle, which is something that I used to adore when I first started learning how to write professionally, as far as like learning from professionals and taking it serious. And I loved it, right? But after decades, like 2 decades of watching people brutalize the idea of stories coming full circle and it becoming painfully predictable, and it's its own quiet cliche where if you know what it is, you see it coming a mile away, it ruins most of the enjoyment factor because you know damn well they can't fucking help themselves. It's always going to come full circle. It's always going to do it no matter what. They can't fucking help themselves, you know? Anyhow, I do think the audience that is left watching this knows what they're in for. They are here for the ride, this specific style, and I would not be shocked, I haven't looked into it, but I would not be shocked to see that the week-to-week audience, the people who are keeping an eye on Better Call Saul, are 80% higher, loving it. You know, with an 8 out of 10 or higher, that would be their score. Because that's what I mean by it stays true to what it is, even sometimes where it gets kind of dull. But you do see some moments where it's like, see, now this is why a million other people that stopped watching it, this is why they kind of fell off. Because people go nuts over some of the episodes that have some of the more real-world tension, action. And that's why when you bring in Gus and Mike and all this other stuff, some of it really ramps up. Because pushing paperwork in a law office, if you're still awake and you can follow it, season 1 to 2 bored me to tears. I just put Better Call Saul off to the side, and I waited till it was coming to an end, and then I binged it. And binge watching it alone made me appreciate 3, 4, and 5 a lot more. But not only that, the introduction of Gus, the Salamanca story, Nacho's story, all that stuff being intertwined and starting to really mix, that made me enjoy it. Lalo coming in, crazy Lalo. I like 3, 4, and 5 a lot more. I think my favorites are probably, it's rough. It might be like 4, 3, 5, or 4, 3, and 5 are tie. 1 and 2 are dead last. I think 2 is dead last. 1 is second from last. And season 6 is probably lesser down, for like number 4 spot. I appreciate some of the connections. Like the 12th episode where you literally check in on Kim after all this time. Now, there was 2 things that we discussed years ago when this first aired. Kim either dies or they have a huge falling out. There's only 2 ways, because she's nowhere in Breaking Bad. She's so gone from Breaking Bad. She wasn't even invented yet, that Saul never mentions her at all. Nothing. So she has to be dead, or she has to be so far broken from him that she's not even living in the same area. It's totally gone. And, you know, that's what we got. But when it comes to that episode in particular, checking up on her, and this is what, true to that storytelling of her talking about mayonnaise, having the most boring sex ever, having the most dull conversations at work. For God's sakes, they have a barbecue, and I'm falling asleep imagining being there. It's one of the most dull fucking barbecues I've ever seen in my life. I know we make fun of like white people barbecues. I've heard that, and I'm like, I don't know what kind of white people you hang out with, man. Barbecues, we're getting ripped. We're fucking either playing volleyball or whatever that stupid, you know, that piece of wood with the hole in it. I mean, we're lighting off fireworks. There's a bonfire. I mean, I don't know what kind of barbecues you guys are at, you guys go to, but holy shit, this is probably like, you know what I mean, office, higher up, mid, I don't know, you know, mid-tier, high mid-tier, just dull as shit. So you see her life, and then you catch up with the beginning of the initial break in his runaway lifestyle where he's plotting and planning. But some of it, even though I appreciate it, here's the truth, and then I want to get to you as a your feedback watching. I will rewatch Breaking Bad, even the most boring episode, The Fly. I will rewatch almost every single episode in Breaking Bad. Every like 4 years, every 5 years, I'll revisit it somehow. If it's on TV, I can't help but just stopping and watching a few minutes, no matter what scene comes on. Better Call Saul's different, although I do recognize if you are a fan of the series and you already know what you're in for, you're going to have positive feeling, because it's quality for what it is. Don't get me wrong. But I recognize if you're in it for entertainment and you don't give a fuck about coming full circle, about Easter eggs, about blended storytelling, mirrored storytelling, the parallels of storytelling, if you don't care about any of that shit, there's a big chance you're not going to give a fuck about Saul's story. Because some of it's kicking a garbage can is what I mean by, oh my God, did you see that? When he went to prison and he kicked the prison, but unlike the garbage can giving way, the prison doesn't give way. See, that's the depth in the symbolism behind the storytelling. Some people just aren't looking for that. You see Saul, he gets mad, he kicks a garbage can, the garbage can dents and it goes flying. Okay, he got pissed, he kicked a garbage can. I got pissed, I kicked my girlfriend. I mean, we all do that, right? And then you see Saul get caught. His life's over. He's done. He's going to prison. Done deal. You know? And then he kicks the prison wall and his foot like shatters into... It doesn't break, but still, it hurts a lot. And then he laughs kind of like Walter White, and they have a similar breakdown at certain points where you can kind of mirror the Outlaws in different ways. But that symbolism there that's his future, and it's not given away with his outburst, and you can pull even more symbolism through that. You're probably going to be like, okay, I appreciate it now that I heard it explained. Just briefly, there's more to it, but I still don't care. I understand there's going to be the people that love it, the people that don't give a shit about the symbolism, and you don't have to. I'm not going to look at you and go, oh, you just don't get it. You know, I get it. You want a different type of entertainment. That's fine. And then there was another aspect that I wanted to circle back around. I'm gonna try to remember it, but it was shit. There was one more thing I don't want to. I'm gonna have to circle back around. But the last thing I want to say. Oh, that's right. Leave Fly alone. Even though I can appreciate the good and what I consider the kind of boring with Better Call Saul, and I appreciate the quality, even though it's not my cup of tea, I'll never return to Better Call Saul. With a gun to my head, you'd have to force me to rewatch. And it's not saying it's bad. It's just, it's one of those shows where I've seen it once, and that is plenty. Trust me, plenty. I don't want to dive in. I don't want to break it down. I really appreciate the symbolism behind those scenes. They're clever. I give them props on that. But it's not done in an interesting way enough for me to ever revisit it or rewatch it. It was a one and done experience. And I'll say that I probably really enjoyed only a good solid 60% of the series in totality as a concentrated piece. Whereas, you know, and comparing it to Breaking Bad, I enjoyed all of it, but that's more in my ballpark. So I don't hold it against Better Call Saul. I just don't really care about the paper pushing shit. I like him interacting with his clients a lot. You know what I mean? But then when he goes and interacts with other lawyers and backdoor stuff, and I like how they come up with clever shit to solve it. You feel me? But outside of that, there's a lot in there that just weighs it down. Last thing I'll say before we get into your thoughts and opinions, the end of the show left me kind of miffed. I feel like the end is fucking shit. You know, I get it. He had his redemption arc, and yeah, but I don't fucking care. I hated it. I like the fact that he, you know, he kills Saul in that moment. He puts on the suit. He is his own attorney. He is Saul Goodman for the last time. And then by the end of it, he's sentencing Saul Goodman to all that time. But there's another part of me that was thinking like, I don't believe that. You don't have to kill yourself to do a redemption arc. And that's what he did. He's dead. You know what I mean? He's going to prison. So there was a part of me that thought he was going to get 7 years and then he was going to rework it, but his redemption arc will make it so, you know, he gets double that time, maybe 20 years, but he'll get out in good behavior. He'll be out in like 15 years. So he basically doubled his time, but he got his redemption. And then to find out it's like, oh yeah, he goes 80 years, he's done. I just kind of felt like, I think the the writer had a moment where they thought we were too stupid, that we wouldn't understand. He did a redemption arc. At the same time, he was clever enough to rework it so he wasn't buried, in prison for the rest of his life. I just didn't buy that sacrifice at the very end. Not totally, me personally, but that's all I'll say about that. I can still watch it, though, and appreciate what was going on in those scenes, like the exit sign having a little buzz, which I'll keep in mind. Those are little moments that I do enjoy. I am not the type of fan that goes, whoa, did you see they brought back for the 1 second the fucking exit sign? Remember that? Yeah, of course I remember. How do I fucking forget? I sat there bored to tears with Chuck's fucking story for so long. No one forgets the buzzing sound of the exit sign, So I think there's kind of different fields where some people would see that one little snippet of the exit sign buzzing when he mentions Chuck, and they'll be like, that's mind-blowingly amazing. And I got to back away. I think that's too much. I think you need to come up for air. But then if you see like I saw it and I was like, ooh, that's clever. I give you props. But then that's it. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes because I'm bombarded with some of the shit fans are saying, and I'm just thinking like, holy fuck, man. It's like you take something that's even a 9 and you're like, it's a 75. And I'm like, well, you're changing shit in Breaking Bad now to fit because you want it to appear in both of them. Just accept what's in both and love it for what it is instead of just going all over the place. But I mean, that's just different opinions that was getting sent in there. But let me hit up The System is Rigged, sent a super chat. I was going to play some footage, but I think we'll leave Gene up on the screen. Oh, that's one last thing. Hated the black and white. They knew it was going to be a thing, and this is something The Walking Dead did as well, where they didn't want to confuse the audience, so they put half of one of the episode in black and white. The fans hated it, and I think it's because of the stupid people out there. Yeah, and I'm sorry, because I know there's people, my friend could not understand the black and white, and he kept going, yeah, I don't know when this takes place, and I'm like, if it's black and white, it's fucking present day. God fucking damn it. It'll never change. Because he's like, I don't know, man. Saul was robbing this house. And I was like, was it black and white? Okay, that's present day. You fuck. There's just people out there. He knows I break his balls in person in real life. But he just couldn't grasp it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? So I think you can play this in color. All of it. And we can pick out, oh, he's in Cinnabon. Oh, he's Gene. This is after Breaking Bad. Oh, I think dumbing it down to black and white sucked the fat, hairy one. Because I think black and white is it's torture for entertainment. That was not an artistic time for us. That was technological limitations. And it should be drug out to the street, executed several times, buried, and we should never see another piece of black and white cinema ever a fucking again. You never, take it out back and pop it in a dome. Anyway, moving on. The System is Rigged with $5 super chat. I agree. I enjoyed season 6 until episode 10. Black and white timeline. The story was still good, but the structure felt dragged out with Gene. Well, speaking of the structure, part of it hitting with Lalo, and then, he went kind of quick, and then Nacho even went kind of quick within season 6. And then we had a little bit of a drag out, you know what I mean, like with the pacing. And then for the Kim episode, I think like episode 10, 11, 12-ish, it for me, it felt like they ran all the exciting stuff, and then we were just coming to a stop. And then episode 12 is one, I think it's probably one I can highlight as I appreciate what's in it when this in the same strength, man, I think the pacing is horrendous. You know what I mean? It's a weird mix. And I think that highlights the fact that Vince Gilligan and Gould, what's his name? I'm forgetting it. Gould actually wrote Better Call Saul, not Vince Gilligan. The majority of it. You got to look up the thing, but I know someone was saying like Vince Gilligan's writing is blah, blah, blah. Vince Gilligan didn't actually write Better Call Saul all the way. I think the guy's name is Gould or whatever. Let me look it up to see in a second, but what is his name? Anyway, I think that goes to show the quality. Even though I'm shitting on the parts that I thought were a drag, I can respect the quality because it is there. It might not be my preference, but it is high quality ingredients, even on the episodes that I think are some of the worst, in my opinion, are made with high quality ingredients. So I give them props all around for that, even though it's not my cup of tea and they lost me from time to time with pacing and structure and yada, yada, yada. But again, I think that's a solid way to put it now that I think about it. Even the shit I don't like, I can recognize they have quality all around. Some of the acting slips, but nothing's perfect, you know. Anyhow, let me go back up and see live chat. All right, so now it's up to you guys. Your thoughts and opinions on Better Call Saul. Let me have them. I'm going to read some of the comments. We got someone that disagrees. I'll get to you in a second because I love the disagreement ones just so it opens up some dialogue. The downfall of The Walking Dead really made you so negative, bro. Well, I don't think so, because I was always interested in the very beginning about breaking down everything, the good and bad of everything. I still to this day, I just don't understand obviously we're being a little more playful. I'm in a good mood. I want to keep it hyped. We're being a little more playful here. But, yeah, I don't understand the idea of, man, I really love this. I gotta pretend like there's not a single negative in it at all, you know? I just don't understand, though. I get that comment every now and again. It'll rear, man, you loved it, but you gotta mention something you didn't like. It's like, well, yeah, well, nothing's perfect. You know, like, what? But then that same person will talk about shit they don't like, and that's okay. But God forbid someone else do it, then it's a problem. Peter Gould, thank you very much. Jessica said, Ronnie, it was slow as hell for too long. Then in the last season, it was a cram jam with loads of character inconveniences. Yeah, I could definitely see someone having an issue with the character work in. I watched season 6 a little different though, so I am being careful to make sure, because I only had a couple episodes, one episode in the end, and then I went back and watched one in the beginning. I skipped 2, watched another one. I had a couple that was out of order just because I didn't want to get AMC Premiere, so I watched some of them a little out of order just because I was too impatient to wait until I had them all. All right, let me go back up to Jessica. He redeemed himself for his asshole brother. The brother who was his lifelong roadblock and didn't care about him. That was so stupid. There is elements of that I still stop and think like, wait, what? Because if you look at it, it's just a debate. You can make the argument, well, Chuck knew what kind of person his brother was, so Chuck was preemptively, protecting people in the law and yada, yada, yada from Jimmy McGill. But that's thought crime. Who the fuck are you? That's a horrible world to live in, to go, yeah, I don't think this person is good enough to be this, this, and this. Let me just, punish them ahead of time so that way we're protected in the future. Fuck you. Imagine living in a real world like that. That's horrendous. Anyway, so yeah, there's stuff where I think Chuck is a dick. I think it's a pompous ass. So but I understand there's an element there with brothers going back and forth with him and Chuck that he did recognize that there was some, there was definitely Chuck being there for him with a number of different things. So I understood that, but I still wasn't fully like, but I did get it where he had a bit of guilt over that last sting that he did, taking away Chuck's insurance and then his livelihood, essentially his legacy. I can see the guilt there. I can appreciate that. Can't disagree more. Love Chuck's arc. Yeah, no, we're just going to have to disagree on it. I didn't. Well, here's the thing, too. In season 3, I had no problem with Chuck's arc. I think the biggest thing was in season 2 with getting the groceries and setting up the inconvenience around Chuck's life. I think I felt like, okay, I got it. You know, the weird condition. You know, some people don't agree with it. Some people do. They kind of, pussyfoot around. And then you have these people that are, and look what his brother's doing for him. I understood, especially when Howard Hamlin was like, you do this every day for Chuck? Holy shit, like, I get it. And then we got more episodes about Chuck's condition and getting him groceries and and then even more, and then doing paperwork, and I just felt like, for me, those moments, and again, that was season 1 and 2. 3, most of Chuck's shit I didn't have a problem with, and I think that's because of the spin with getting Jimmy in trouble, and there was more tension readily available. You were bringing Chuck out of his element more and doing something that was directly tied to the plot, like Chuck's groceries. I don't give a flying shit about his groceries. Anyhow, wait, let me take a drink. White Panda says, Walt caused so much death, he deserved his end. Jesse endured so much suffering, he deserved his freedom. Saul broke the law, he swore to protect, he deserved his sentence. Well, that's a good way to break it down. I don't know. This is an interesting thing, too, is in Breaking Bad, Jesse executing Gale was kind of like, it was kind of like, I think, the coldest thing Jesse ever did. Even though he was remorseful about it, he still straight up murdered him. But I did like those little tweaks in Better Call Saul where they're setting up the factory. Seeing that stuff, doing the origin to stuff in Breaking Bad, I like that stuff. Even when it slowed down and it was like, here's Gale, here's the factory, here's what they were planning, here's how they built it. For that stuff, I was all along the ride because it's bulking up the stuff we already love in Breaking Bad. But I did think for a minute there, I was like, Gale wasn't as innocent as it seemed in the first one. But then again, he was making meth. But still, you get my point. I'm not gagged by mirroring and references all the time. It's clever here and there, but not every episode. See, I don't even mind if it's in every episode. I think where my frustration comes is when I talk about Better Call Saul right away, I'm like, man, all right, so the story and what happened, and I'm bombarded with, did you see the coffee cup? Yes, yeah, so what? Same one as this season, fucking this one. Yeah, so what? What about the story flow? But the coffee cup, I think that's where I lose it because, all over. And it's the internet, it's my fault too for trying to go all out because the easiest thing to flop out there is the clickbait stuff. Did you notice this hidden missed thing that you didn't see? And it's like, yeah, of course that's what people are going to talk about. But the comedic side of me said that some magical vagina Kim has to take 87 years to make her happy with him. Wow. Ouch. Laugh Out Loud Chuck was fantastic. Better Call Saul was awesome. I started The Last Kingdom last week. Pleasantly surprised. Which one is, which one was, well, I will say, because the way you phrased that, I do think the actor playing Chuck, for the majority, outside of whether or not I agreed with his season 1 and 2 storyline being interesting, I think the actor did a great job. I think Howard's actor, Better Call Saul, even Kim Wexler, for a minute there, I was rooting for Kim. I liked her in a couple parts because she was, she wasn't so, I don't know. In 1 and 2, she just kind of felt like, does she fit here? But then she really got in the groove. I think the black and white was symbolic of dull, drab life. They could take that symbolism. That's could be what they were going for, but my thing is they could take it and cram it up their ass. I think black and white is horrendous. Every main character got what they deserved. The holy trinity of endings. Let me see any thoughts on... yeah, Blu-ray Addict. Lighthouse was in black and white. I watched it. Black and white sucked. stunned by your review. I suspect not for everyone, but these shows are masterclass in writing. Yeah. Well, again, that's why I wanted to make it a point to stress. And again, maybe your comment came before that point, but I wanted to make it a point to stress. I can't lie to you and say, even though I recognize there was, quality in the writing all throughout, I can't lie to you and come on and be like, it's a masterclass. I'm sorry, me as someone who sits down and wants to enjoy the piece, I was not entertained the entire time. I'm not going to lie about it. On the flip side, the reason why I said this one I struggle with a bit, as well as others, is other ones that I find there's quality there. It's just not my cup of tea. That's what I want to emphasize. There's quality I find in all the ingredients. It's just not my cup of tea. And you know what? It's not going to be for millions of people out there, as we could tell by the ratings. I haven't even seen the ratings. I bet you... Well, I mean, Breaking Bad's got a really strong fan base. They should be somewhere close to Breaking Bad, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were less. Now, honestly, nowadays, they should be higher than Breaking Bad. But anyway, I thought an after-credit scene of Kaylee 10 years later finding a stash of hidden money from Mike under the jungle gym he built for her would have been a nice wrap up to Mike's story. I wanted something for Mike because his story is harsh, At the very end of Breaking Bad, he gets screwed over big time. And then at the very end of Better Call Saul, he feels still screwed over because you know where it's going, But I loved setting up Mike's story. Every time Mike was on screen, I don't even think I was ever bored at all. There was a couple times where I was like, but quickly we got to something that I liked. Mike's character is a character I like a lot. Mike, definitely. Ending sucked. I was waiting for Jimmy to get shanked. How did you like the episode where Howard died? It was a bit... there was a part of me that... thought... I kind of felt like it interrupted his arc mixed with them and their beef with Howard. But I thought about it a minute after. I just kind of felt like, oh, wait a minute. There's more beef with Howard and Jimmy. You can't... But then I thought about it and I was like, man... If it's supposed to feel that...
Thanks so much for doing this.
Where the fuck did that sound come from? What now? Let me I guess when I restarted OBS, I have to change the settings. Where did that sound come from? But anyway, maybe that's the point. Oh, thank you very much, Jessica.
Thanks so much for doing this.
What the fuck? Okay, that's weird. Did you guys hear that? I think it's coming out of my TV. I gotta change those settings. But I like the suddenness of it. It really puts the Lalo no bullshit to the test. I wasn't all that happy with Kim and Saul setting Howard up. Howard's another character I found myself going, yeah, he's just a rich prick. And a lot of times he didn't even seem like a bad person, He seemed pretty cool, unless I'm forgetting some messed up shit he did. I mean, yeah, he was wrong about Jimmy being a good lawyer, and then he tried to make amends, and give him a job. And Jimmy was just like, fuck that. I mean, and again, I think that's part of the flaw of the character. All right, let me see here. I can't figure out how to fix that, but I don't want to get interrupted. I don't think we're going to get a lot of tips anyway, or text to speeches. If we start getting a lot, I'll try to fix it. I'll try to fix it now. But I want to see what you guys have to say, because this won't be a long stream. Then again, if you guys want a gaming stream tonight, holla at me. If we do good, maybe we'll get one going. And it'd be the last one on this channel, because I'm setting up the Ronnie Hayes channel for streams. All right. Anyhow, Blu-ray Addict, what were your thoughts on the Walt and Jesse cameo? Oh, thank you very much for bringing that up. I think it's an embarrassment that, and I don't blame Aaron Paul for looking friggin' 12 years older, but it is a noticeable difference. He sounds different, which that's fine. You could do a little play in the voice. He definitely sounds a little older, but he visually looks a little older. He's definitely heavier. He's filled out a lot more, and it is distracting in a way I did not like it initially when I first seen it. I love having Walt and Jesse back in any, no matter what. Give me any and all scenes, and I see how it related to the story, because the Walt scene and Jesse with the RV was tied into Saul telling the law enforcement how he met Walter White in Heisenberg with a gun to his head in front of an open grave. This is something that he can go on to have a lie detector test done, which I thought was kind of implied. One thing I thought was weird, when he said, he killed 10 prisoners in a few minutes, I could have sworn they would have had an agent stand up and go out of the room and then peek his head back in the room and be like, he's not kidding. That was Heisenberg. I thought that little bit of extra oomph confirming that would have been great. But they didn't do those little things like that. They didn't do it. And I kind of thought, I don't know. It adds weight to what's going on and yada, yada, yada. That was the first time matter of fact, because the agent didn't come in the room and verify that was the first time I thought there's going to be a twist coming. Something's not right. Because I don't know. They're not fleshing it out the way I thought or I expected. But here's what's embarrassing. Somebody did a little deep fake on Jesse and they fixed him. And it looks amazing. It looks like season 1 Jesse in Better Call Saul. And I don't know why Sony didn't pay a little extra for that. Thoughts on Lalo? I loved him. I thought I thought the lead up to his death was too quick. I like the fact that we got to see Gus genuinely shook. Part of it did feel a little like plot armor, though, for Gus. Anyhow, better hope Jimmy doesn't drop the soap. My last straw when cops stop on a residential to eat Taco Bell. Little convenient to push story. Yeah, I was just kind of seeing that as maybe that was one of those areas. We have them all over the place down here by Raleigh. Raleigh's so big in Raleigh, North Carolina. You'll have a whole set of stores and shops, and off to the side is a bunch of residentials, That's all over the place. Now they're building up apartment complexes, but still, that's what I just pretended. Maybe it's like an area where, they were at a taco shop and they just pulled off to where the residential side is. My issue with the cameos was how can kids on the internet de-age Walt and Jesse, but AMC can't? Well, no, it's not AMC's fault this time. Remember, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is owned by Sony, not AMC. AMC just airs it. Jimmy will be just fine in prison. Yeah, I get the feeling he'll be just fine there. The writer said the cab driver recasting changed the story a bit. The original actor was doing at HBO, David Simmons, We Run This City, and could not get out of it. Wait a minute. That was supposed to be the same guy? Holy shit, he's very recognizable when he approaches Gene. How did they fuck that up? That's the final season. Is that what you're talking about? He comes up to Gene and he's like, I know you. He is for a character actor for like a supporting role, he did great. He did a good job. Solid. And I wasn't all that impressed by the second guy. No offense. The guy who got pinched. If that's what you're talking about. I thought they were two totally different people. Oh, man. I was a little confused. Anyway. Howard backed Chuck's moves. Howard is culpable and was not good. Yeah, I guess maybe I am forgetting Howard did back Chuck there. I did forget about that. Jimmy was jealous. Howard had Chuck's respect. The biggest thing I'm taking away from Better Call Saul is Lalo and Howard being unearthed the lab, and how Saul played a bigger role with Walt than we knew. Those two things changed Breaking Bad. Yeah, I like those elements. I will say I am hesitant on Lalo and Howard being underneath the lab. And I say that because in Breaking Bad, didn't they imply that the two bodies that they found in the lab fire was the one guy that got his neck cut open, and then somebody else? Didn't someone else die in that area? Wasn't there one of the other bodyguards that got shot or killed or something in that area? That's the only thing that I thought, wait a minute. It's cool if they are retconned to be the two bodies. I think that gives weight to it. But if they're not, if the other ones are, then I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm going to go back and watch Breaking Bad. I'm a little bit, on that. But if that's the case, then that's fine. Aaron Paul sounded like he smoked 50 cigs. Yeah. Better Call Saul is inferior to Breaking Bad in every single way, says Paul. Breaking Bad was much must-watch television with multi-layered protagonist and antagonist. With Better Call Saul, we got to watch a scumbag start as a scumbag and end as a scumbag. Riveting. Aaron Paul's been good on Westworld. I'm not watching that currently. For me, that fell off. It's just not my cup of tea nowadays. I could think about El Camino was Todd. Oh my God, Todd and El Camino. I talked about that too. That was terrible. I know these are actors and we're not supposed to tell them it's only acting, but I'm sorry to the actor. Lose some fucking weight. You look ridiculous going from one project to the next and you're like, fuck, man. Vince Gilligan would be doing himself a favor by moving on to something else. Breaking Bad universe is done and dusted. I think we should give Breaking Bad a break, the universe. I also didn't like Walt reading Saul for always being like this. So lame. Walt took 50 years to find himself. Who is he to judge anyone for being crooked? Yeah, that's a way to look at it for sure. Vince Gilligan is creating a Twilight Zone type show. Oh, thank you very much, George, for the $2 super chat. Agree with the 15 years. Looking forward to Flaw and Awe. Thank you very much. We're not doing Flaw and Awe for Better Call Saul, though. Just a little heads up. We're returning on this channel. We're doing Halloween Kills, and I'll announce what we're doing after that. That's coming up soon. We're making a little bit of a restructuring, just to let those know. And it's going to take the rest of 2022 and a little bit of 2023. So keep in mind, because someone mentioned yesterday, they were like, didn't you just restructure? And I'm like, this is the same restructure. Because of the algorithm and certain things I'm doing, it's going to take YouTube months for what I'm doing. So hang in there and I'll explain everything after. Blu-ray Addict says, yeah, they had to recast Jeff the cab driver. Oh, that's that got me. Then again, I did watch them out of order, and I think maybe my brain refused to, identify that they recasted him. I thought he was just another guy. They dissolved the body of the dude that got his throat slit. Oh, okay. Howard and Lalo will never be found. They're buried under concrete. Well, not only that, if you go back and watch Breaking Bad, they couldn't identify the bodies underneath because they got so hot. Gomez said that the teeth actually exploded. I don't know if that's a real life thing, but go back and rewatch it. That's what Gomez says. That's why they couldn't identify the Howard and Lalo in Breaking Bad. They're not the two bodies. I took it as there'll be another layer of concrete they'd have to dig through to get to Lalo and Howard. Oh, I see what you're saying. Hank never finding HH or Lalo. It was the guards that kidnapped Jesse that Walt killed with the revolver in the laundromat. Wait, Hank never found HH or Lalo. It was the guards that kidnapped Jesse that Walt killed with the revolver in the laundromat. See, I'm going to go back and rewatch it because that's what I mean by fans taking something that is not the case and then switching it around. I will double check. Now, some people are saying it is, some people are saying it isn't. So next time I watch Breaking Bad, I'm going to keep an eye out. But I will say, I am cool if it's Howard Hamlin and Lalo. I'm cool with that. I actually kind of like that. I wish maybe that is, something they thought of ahead of time. But if it is most likely not the case, then I'm not even going to push it. Now, anyone watching entertainment, it's up to you to decide. Like when I watch Friday the 13th, I don't watch it like Jason Voorhees drowned. I watch it like Mrs. Voorhees lost her mind. He drowned, but he was revived, and he just wasn't the same. So she raised him on her own, but kept him away from society to protect society. And Jason was actually in part one, we just didn't see him. He was the one who threw the body through the thing and yada, yada, yada. He was actually a grown-ass man by the time, everything popped off. So that's how I watch it because it has better connectivity that way. It's a lot better than, he's a boy ghost thing, So any fan can watch it and do whatever and think whatever they want. I'm not going to tell you how to think, but I'm not going to push something into Breaking Bad that wasn't there, Baby Bear grew up in Raleigh. Sorry to hear that, bud. Walt killed two of Gus's guys who was found by the DEA in the lab. Him and Jesse burned the lab to the ground. Yeah, that might be it. I keep seeing, well, I'm sure you guys see it too. The YouTube videos and posts of, it was Hamlin and Lalo. And I thought, wait, that can't be. There's no way. That they weren't even written by then, I can't see how Saul walked into court in that suit and a sweet, masterful deal with the feds just to toss it and confess for Kim and his bro. 7 years over 86. No, sir, I'm not buying it. Yeah, I said the same thing. I'm just not buying it. Even for somebody who wants redemption, you could get redemption, add a few years, but 80 years, you're going to add 80 years? I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Even for redemption. Bro married MJ from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I think he's good. Who? MJ from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man? Oh, yeah. Who married? Who are we talking about? It's like Saul asking Walt if he has any regrets the day after his brother-in-law was murdered, and he's now on the run with the family. Despising him was so funny. Oh, and Marion... She trusted him, yet she is suspicious over one thing enough to ask Jeeves him about Albuquerque con man. Oh, ask Jeeves. It doesn't make sense. Wait, we did have an anonymous pop in. Don't know. Let me see. Gaming stream tonight. I need it, buddy. If we hit 50 instead of extending this, we'll do a gaming stream for a reward. Just to throw that out there in case somebody is expecting this to extend. We still got a few minutes though, so we're hanging out. But the podcast, I don't want to make that too long. To be clear, I wasn't referring to Better Call Saul on Flaw and Awe. Oh, I gotcha. I just wanted to make sure you weren't waiting on something that I wasn't going to do. I love you, but couldn't stomach that. I meant Halloween, etc. Yeah, we have Halloween, and then I'm biting the bullet, and I want to finish Friday the franchise, but I have some stuff I want to mix in there, but I don't want to, certify it yet. But I want to get back to that because in 2023, my main focus is going to be that. I was talking to some people about doing some stuff, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I don't want to talk about money on stream, but maybe making some moves. So I'd be doing that strictly for 2023 for the first 6 months, but we'll see how that rolls out. the flaw and all. And streaming, because that's just hanging out. That's not like, I'm not trying to be a gaming streamer. If you guys want to hang out with me, Ronnie Hayes channel. Anyway. Yes, it was Gus Goons. Their teeth did the popcorn thing, Hank said. Seems like a lot of people in chat are fine with the 2 bodies in the lab being killed by Walter. So what's all this shit I see pop up on social media, whether it's YouTube or friggin' Facebook or Twitter, about the 2 bodies in the lab, man? That's all I saw for like 2 days straight about Better Call Saul. I could never get into this show. It was just too slow. Better Call Saul was fantastic, dog. I'm glad you liked it. Aaron P's Sports Entertainment says 4 of us. You need to find you and 4 friends, AP. Let's go. Holla at your boys. You could pull it off. So, is that any final remaining thoughts for Better Call Saul? I think that's pretty much the majority that stands out to me that I would talk about. I wonder what it should smell like, the smell of bodies. You mean dead bodies? Imagine a smell that is so potent and musky yet bitter that the moment it hits your nose, it becomes a fist in your stomach, just yanking out your fucking your lunch, you know? That's what a dead body smells like. Let's go, AP. Start us off. See that, AP? You started it. I got 5 on it. There's 15 right there, AP. There's soft batch. You guys really want a gaming stream? All right, hold on. Before you do it, it'll be on this channel, and I just need a 1-hour break. I'm going to run my daughter to the store. I'll come back, and we'll do a gaming stream. So we're shutting down in a few minutes, and then I'll run to the store and come back. Is that cool? Before anyone thinks we're going to shut down and start a gaming stream in 5 minutes. Just to let you know. Just to be trans. Is that cool or what? I'm saying an hour, but I'm only running about 10 minutes away. 10 minutes back. Probably takes me 10 minutes to make a thumbnail. Yada, yada, yada. It'd be an open gaming stream, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do, I don't know. What do you guys want to see? Spider-Man or... I'm at the end of that phobia, but no one likes that game for watching. I don't blame you. Normac did a $5. AP did a $5.
First $5. Please delete other Aaron P plays. I highly dislike people copying me.
What is that? Where is that coming from? I think it's coming out of my speaker. Let me see. Properties. Default.
Let's get it.
What the fuck, bro? Hold on, do you guys hear this? Let me see.
Still there?
I've changed my mind.
Change your mind. Hi.
Yeah.
To be clear, you are not going forward.
All right, hold on. I think I figured it out. Display settings. Wait a minute. Where's my... Sorry, chat. Give me 1 second. Where's my... Sound settings? Oh my god. The output was changed. How did that happen? All right, let me replay the donations. case we missed something. There we go. Did it.
Let's get it. Please delete other Aaron P plays. I highly dislike people copying me.
Wait a minute. AP, what? How did you do the math on we only need 4 people at $5? 4 people at 5 is 20. We were at 25. How did you get that math? But all right, we got the text to speech fixed. Let me see what's going on with AP now. And any remaining last minute Better Call Saul stuff. I have a phobia. I hear you. Echo Dono. Yeah, I'm fixing that. Renzo said, you're right, it's not good. It was fantastic. I am genuinely glad you liked it. Fuck phobia. If you're willing to explode, you have to squeeze the deal right at the end. Right to the end. Gotcha. Rip Foster. Yeah, Robert Forster. He, this guy right here. How did they get him in Better Call Saul? Because he died years ago, didn't he? Or am I thinking of somebody else? That thumbnail I made is actually pretty fire. Forster. All right. It was filmed before he died. Oh, really? In 2019. How was Saul an accessory after the fact to Hank's murder? Detail-wise, we don't know. But, obviously, Saul helped and knew of the fact that and here's the thing is the details, we don't even know the details of what they think about Hank's murder, because we know that Walter White didn't kill Hank, didn't want Hank killed, and I still think for a writing exercise, I still think it's incredible how Vince Gilligan was, I don't know if he accidentally wrote a way for Walter to be alive and found not guilty of numerous crimes, or lessened his sentence so drastically that we could have had an ending where Walter White, imagine he won. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Let me double check the math. But, because keep in mind, Walter hired out Todd's uncle and all that for the prison killings. Walter White's Todd's uncle's connected to all that directly. Hank's killing, his uncle's connected to all that directly. That, and the other thing, it was Hank's uncle directly. In the final 2 seasons, it was Hank and it was Todd. I'm sorry, it was Todd and his uncle, and Hank's uncle. What the fuck? It was Todd and his uncle. So you could have actually had it to where you found Jesse, or you knew that Jesse was chained up. he watched his girlfriend be executed, and he was chained up in this underground bunker, and you could have made the argument, a lawyer could have, that Walter White was, kidnapped, tortured. His family, his wife can actually go and do one of those tests and get tested for telling the truth that Todd and them actually came and threatened the baby. All that happened. That was all real, Well, it doesn't matter now. I will double check just to see if I got it wrong on my end. But Phantom Knight, thank you very much, threw in a 5. So we have Jessica kicked it off with 25. And then we have Normac with 5, AP with 5. So that's 35. Jessica with 5, that's 40. And then White Panda with 5, that's 45. So my math was correct. And then Phantom with 5, that's 50. So we're good to go. We're going to shut it down now. And as long as you guys are cool with it, I'm going to run my daughter to the store. Well, as long as you guys know. I mean, you're cool with it because I said it before and you guys kept going. So we'll come back with a little mini gaming stream in an hour. Why can I not pull this up? And we'll get on and popping. I am going to get my... I don't know if I should... I was going to put the pre-order through for Last of Us, but I'm thinking, should I get a physical copy or should I just get the digital? Because if I get the digital, I could just download it. But here's the thing is, my God, the temptation to not throw it on before we stream would be huge. I'm not going to play. That temptation would be kind of big. Anyway. It was filmed before he died. I love you forever. Thank you very much. Clearly, the sports entertainment game isn't working out for you, AP. Why? What happened there? Uncle Jack. Yeah, that's it. Uncle Jack. I forgot his name. Yeah, AP, I didn't count the anonymous dollar. Processing is, I think the processing fee is 48 cents every time you tip. So it's like that. The dollar tip is like, I think I see 48 cents of that. So I just didn't even count it. That's why it wasn't in the math. Breaking Bad, it equals out that way because then the $5 ones are actually $4.50. It's just a quick way to do the most accurate math without getting into all the fucking details, Todd got chubby, so what? I wasn't bothered. Yeah, he got chubby. I was bothered because it was supposed to be the past, those past scenes, and then the future was not that far off. All right, I'm gonna roll out. Okay, later on. Thanks. I wish Better Call Saul was more. Well, I'm trying to think. What could they have added to inject some fury in there? More of the stuff with Gus in them. Saul doesn't seem like he is connected as much in. So it would kind of have to be a clever way. I don't know. Fat Todd and Walt's bald cap were the best moments of the franchise. Yeah, you got a crush for Saul still. All right, I'll see you guys in an hour. We're going to come back for some gaming. I appreciate the support. And I'll ask you in the gaming stream. I'm curious. Are you guys getting a hard copy of The Last of Us? Are you guys getting digital, or does it matter? For me, it doesn't matter because the Steelbook is sold out. So fuck it. But all right, thank you very much. I'll see you guys in an hour. Bye.